Good morning, friends, people. I hope everybody had a wonderful week. I had a good week, and I'm sitting again, putting my makeup on. I just dropped Drew off at, he's in 3rd grade now, and dropped him off at school, and I forgot that today was the last day to pay my rent, so I had to run all the way across town, 2 towns, to write my check and put it in the office. So that's how I started off my day. Today is Wednesday. Don't know when you're going to be watching this. I went to the dentist yesterday. They're a periodontist, and he told me that I was ready to get braces if that's what I wanted to do with these teeth. I hate this, but it is what it is, and that's what I have to work with. And but he also told me, he took a really deep x-ray, and he told me one of my roots is dying or something on one of my back teeth, and so I need to get a root canal. We're thrilled. So anyway, just gonna sit here and put my makeup on and talk. I thought I would talk a little bit today about anxiety. I have anxiety really badly. And so he said, I have it really badly. Anyway, sometimes it keeps me from working, because if I put my makeup on, I'm looking for my makeup down here. If I put my makeup on at home, I may not get out of the house. I'll drink another cup of coffee, or, get into a podcast, or I don't know. But today is one of those days that if I ran home to get a check, but if I really didn't push myself, I would have stayed home. And that's not good. It's not good for anybody, but it's not good for me, because I'm the one that has to get out and work. So anyway, I made it out of the house. I'm going to put my makeup on, so if I look up here, that's why. People who have never had anxiety don't know what to say. Okay, I'm getting all these flares. Wonder why that's doing that. Sun must have just changed. I put my... Ooh, that's not better. I don't know how to make that better. I don't know how many people who watch my podcast, not my podcast, my YouTube. Let's see if I can do this. Will this work? Yeah, that might work. There we go. Put the window up. Without smashing my fingers. There we go. That's a little bit better. Just don't look at that. Next time I'll try to sit somewhere where it's not there. Anyway, I have anxiety, and it's just not fun. And my wish would be that people who don't have anxiety wouldn't pass judgment on those of us that do, or think that it's just, you can just, work through it. Take a deep breath, work through it. The way that I do it, which is not the healthy way, is I stay home and I just sort of cocoon myself. Seems like I've always taken care of other people who have had anxiety, and I've never really worked on getting rid of mine, because it doesn't come up until I'm finished dealing with somebody else's health or problem or whatever. And so some days I'll be in the house all day, sometimes 2 days. I try not to be there more than that because I have to work. But anyway, I have a neighbor who, I was sitting on my front porch one day and she walked over, and she has a lot of medical issues. And I said, you know, I really understand, and nobody had ever told her that before. I don't know. She said her parents didn't tell her that, or spouses and stuff. But they understood that she was not faking it. And I said, I know you're not faking it. I said, you know, if you believe it, and the doctors say it's there, it's there. Anyway, and I said, you know, I have depression. It keeps me in the house a lot. And I have anxiety, which keeps me from going places and doing things when I need to, or it just seems really selfish, but I literally cannot get out of the house. And when I do, I'm not a very pleasant person to be around. And she said, oh, I have that too. And she said, you need to get out and walk in the morning with me. And sure, that would be great if I could do that. But the problem is, first of all, now I get up at 5:30 and take Drew to school. I have to be at his house by, I try to get there by 6:50. I haven't been accomplishing that. But I try to get there by 7 at the very latest. And take him to school. And that's the only way that I can get out of the house and work, because I know he depends on me, his mom depends on me, and I really enjoy that they depend on me, because what that does is it gets me out of the house. And once I'm out, I can drive. So that's why I put my makeup on in the car. And I'm sure people think I'm very strange doing this, but it's the only thing I can do to get out of the house without having a panic attack. Now that I'm driving so early in the morning, usually I turn on my Uber app around 7:45. Today is later because I had to run home and write a check and take it to the office for my apartment. But because it's already 7:58 right now. And the traffic is just horrendous because everybody's trying to get to work at 8. But I take a lot of people to work when I get going earlier. But if I didn't have the reason for Drew to get up in the morning and take him to school, I probably wouldn't be able to work, or if I worked, it would be in the afternoon. And because our traffic has gotten so bad, I don't work past around 3 or 3:30. And I'll tell you, it's really interesting to work this early in the morning, because once I've been driving like 5 hours, it's like noon or so, and I'm thinking, or 1, you know, I mean, it's like, oh my gosh, it feels like 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So, yeah, it's interesting. People get in and they'll say good morning, and I'm like, oh, it's still morning? But, you know, my advice to people who have friends and acquaintances that have depression, and mainly anxiety, because my depression is pretty much handled with medication, as is my anxiety. But then I have situational anxiety, and that makes me very uncomfortable. And so there's nothing to do. There's nothing I can do about the situational anxiety except just to work straight through it, go home, go to bed, snuggle up with my puppy, and, you know, do that. I just encourage people to be patient, know that they're not lying, and they're not, you know, trying to get out of something, because it's so real, it's so scary, that I don't know, people who say those things, if they could just experience one anxiety attack in the middle of traffic, or in the middle of the grocery store, or, you know, anywhere like that, that it's public, and everybody thinks you're okay because you look fine, but inside your brain you're not fine. So, I don't know how to describe it anyway other than that, because it's so silent as far as other people. People can't feel it, people can't see it. And you just literally have to take the person who you're with or that you love, you have to take their word for the fact that they're having an anxiety attack or a panic attack. I have people get in the car all the time, and I can help them get through a panic attack because of what I did before I retired, and I can help them get through it. And they're always so thankful. They've got a test or whatever that day, and they're so thankful that I was able to calm them down and make them feel better. But what's weird is if somebody does that to me, I get angry. I don't want somebody to say, you can do this, you can make it through. I mean, I know I can. I know I can do things. I know I can do anything I want to do. But it's the fear that keeps me back. One of my biggest fears, and I've dealt with this my whole life, is rejection. And one of the things that includes is going, looking for a job or applying for a job. Terrifies me. My practice, my hypnosis practice, would have been so much more successful if I had been able to go to doctor's offices and say, you know, I can help your patient stop smoking before he goes into, you know, heart surgery or whatever kind of surgery. I had a lot of people who came in before any kind of surgery, and you heal better and faster and healthier if you don't smoke, because of all the chemicals that it puts in your body, keeps you from healing quite so fast. So anyway, that was my specialty, was helping people quit smoking. So anyway, that's my little soapbox this morning. I wanted to tell y'all about a lady that I binge watched her this weekend, and she's been doing YouTube for a year, right at about a year, and it's really interesting. She seems like such a sweet lady, and what's funny about her, and I don't really mean funny, but it's gotten to the point where I think she could probably show her face, but she's still not comfortable. She doesn't show her face. She puts on sunglasses and puts the camera in front of her face, so all you can see is her sunglasses, and she talks. But she considers herself a hoarder, and she's going through each room in her house and letting go of everything that she doesn't need anymore. And she has 2 children, so there's a lot of toys, and I can understand that. I have a daughter, and when she was little, you know, she had a lot of toys. It got to the point where I couldn't afford to buy her the toys that she had anymore, so I would tend to take them up and then not give them back to for a birthday or anything, but if she wanted a new toy, I'd say, let's go over here and let me see what I had, you know, and I'd pull out a toy that she hadn't played with in a while, and it was like it was new. So that's how she was with the toys. And she knew that if we went in a store and she asked for something, that she wasn't going to get it unless we went in there specifically to get that particular thing. That's the way my mother was. If we asked for something, we didn't get it in the store. But if we didn't ask, we might get something. So anyway, and when I take Drew to the store with me, he knows now not to ask, because he's not going to get anything if he asks. And we might get, you know, a little Pez thing, or some gum or something like that at the end of the shopping trip that he's with me on. One thing that they did when my daughter was little is the store that I use is called H-E-B in Texas, and they always had an aisle that had no gum or candy or anything like that. It was just like magazines and little thing, nothing edible. And so what you would see is you would see the mothers that had children lining up for that register so that their kids they couldn't reach out, they couldn't reach anything. Because I've gotten home before and I've had things that I didn't buy. No, I bought them, but I didn't know I was buying them because Jennifer had put them in the basket. And that's okay, that's what kids do. And but this lady has gone through her whole house, and she just did her last room, which was her laundry room, and she painted it, and it looks really, really nice. The name of the channel is Hoarders Heart, because she thinks she's a hoarder, and what she does is she tells you why she can't let go of something. You know, she's had it for a long time, or it means something, it was her son's or whatever whenever they were little. And now I think they're 6 or 7 and 10 or so. So they're getting out of the little baby stuff, and she wants to keep it. But anyway, she's really a delight to watch and to see her progress. And she does, I don't do, like a lot of YouTubers, I don't do the daily planners, because every day of my life is pretty much the same. I have a calendar in the kitchen that has doctor's appointments for Mother and my daughter and myself, but that's it. But anyway, and when I drive for my other friend. So anyway, but she has this planner, and she puts on there every month, she plans how many days she's not going to spend money. And it's usually about 15 or 16 out of a month. And then she goes back at the end of the month and she sees how she does. And it's really cute, and she does a whole thing on that, and she's really kept to that. And what I think is interesting, and I guess I've always known this because my dad was very frugal and we didn't grow up with getting things. We had everything we needed and nothing we didn't. Is that she said now she can start paying off some of her bills. That's what her goal is. They've got a little cushion. They've got a little savings account now, simply because she's paying attention what she's buying and what she's bringing into her house. I think you would like it. I think it's to me it's interesting. It's an interesting study in, you know, why people do things and what their reasoning is. And now one of the other things she's doing is she's going back in the rooms that she's cleaned out previously and cleaning them out again, because when she takes stuff out of one room, she'll put it back in that room that's already clean. She started with the smallest room in her house, which I think is interesting. My sister-in-law has 2 boys, and so every year for Christmas I used to try to give her something pink, because they didn't have any estrogen in the house, I used to tell her. And so what this lady has done is she has a half bath, and it's hers, and that's where she puts her makeup on and everything. So it's turquoise, and it's got different colors in it, and it's real girly. And so I think that's really good, because that's her room. And the other room that basically is hers is the laundry room, I would think. But anyway, and she just decorated that a couple days ago, and I thought that was really, really fun. But one thing that she has that we don't have here in Texas is she has a basement. And in Texas we don't have basements. I grew up in a town that was below sea level, down by the beach, down by Gulf of Mexico, and now I live in a town that I don't even know, it might be sea level. I don't know, maybe above sea level a little bit, but we don't have basements. It's hard to even make a pool. You have to pump the water out to make a pool. And I put a little note on hers. I said how lucky she was that she was able to have a basement, and you know, she wants to organize it, but I suggested that she organize it a little bit at a time. So every time she takes a box down, that she put it in a certain area, and she organized that area as she's filling it up. This is all the boys' clothes. This is my clothes. This is crafting. This is, you know, whatever, kitchen things or gifts. I used to have a gift closet, and and my daughter said, oh, it's so and so's birthday today. Should we go shopping in the closet? And I would get things, you know, on sale for like 90% off, and it may not be a season for it, but I would put it in the closet, a candle or whatever. And sometimes makeup, if I knew I was going to get rid of it fairly quickly, especially those makeup boxes they have at the end of seasons. I did a lot of shopping like that after Christmas. Don't do it so much anymore. Everybody that I used to give gifts to makes more money than I do now. So I tend not to buy gifts as much as I used to, and I buy my daughter little things like, you know, banana clips and, you know, things like that. Mostly gift cards is what she likes. So anyway, but that's what I wanted to talk about today. Was this lady, one of the reasons why she started doing the hoarding, the getting rid of the hoarding, is it gave her anxiety, and she wouldn't let anybody in her house. And once she started getting everything out, her sons were able to have kids come over and sleep over, and she wasn't embarrassed. She won't tell who she is because she's so embarrassed about her house, and she doesn't want casual acquaintances knowing that this is how she lives. So I think this is where I got with my makeup before, and I didn't finish it the other day. One day you'll see me with makeup on, completely lipstick and everything. So, okay, that's all I have for today. Just wanted to chit chat for a second, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.